Hi, everybody. This is Rubber Duck here with Love Machine, and we're about to get the hammer down.
Whoa. Liking the new intro. Why do
I just heard
which one
something
am
the other
I?
day at your Love Machine. I'm Rubber
Thank you.
Duck.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
This is yeah.
And out
Because I
there
don't want to be
somewhere's
rubber duck. I want to
no,
be
out there somewhere's Pigpen. Um, Internet points for anyone who knows what the hell I'm talking about, but
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
know it's great. But no, this is Chris, and
This is Matt.
yeah, Matt. Back to our normal names. I just
Yep.
thought it'd be fun because I heard something the other day, and I'm like, God, it'll mess with Matt. It'll mess with everybody else.
I really liked it when I was Love Machine.
You're still Love Machine.
No, thank you. No one's
You know.
ever called me that before, believe it or not.
Well, so now here's the fun thing. You've gotten a nickname. You didn't assign it yourself, and it's when you want.
I'm gonna change my
I
Facebook
say own
handle
it.
and
Yeah.
LinkedIn maybe.
Well, I would definitely change LinkedIn.
Right? I won't work for nobody but you.
Mm-mm. Neo Neuro Cyber Shaman is me.
Yeah,
I got the Dex placard, that whole thing.
you're all set.
I'm set to go. But what we really should
What
be
are we
doing is
talking
talking
about?
about Diablo today.
Yeah. Hey, but
uh,
first, is this a review, Chris, of Diablo?
oh, very good point. No, this is not a review. Once a month, we pick a game, we play it for the month, and then we come back and talk about it for a while. It's a big game. We spend the month playing it. In the middle, we have a short game where we play for a day or so. Um,
To get the
get a feel for
gist.
it. But this
Yeah.
one is the full month. We spent a month playing this. We beat this together, united,
Yes, more or less united.
more or less united.
There were moments when the unity was definitely in question.
I remained very patient with you, I feel.
Thank you.
There were moments when that wasn't the case, but I'm like, okay, you got to know what you're doing now, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's weird to me that Diablo is now over 20 years old because this was a game I played when I was not a child, and that is very upsetting to me.
mm-hmm.
I feel old. The other day I realized that I own a vintage T-shirt, but it was new when I bought it and is
Mm-hmm.
now a vintage T-shirt. I was not ready for that
No,
realization.
no.
I'm having an existential crisis about all of this, but anyway, so the intro is really
Yeah, well,
really
hey,
pretty great.
yeah. Follow that thought for a second. I need to look something up. Um,
Yeah, this is a 1996 uh, Blizzard deal, so it's stylistically very Blizzard. All
yeah.
these the Blizzard intros and the Bullfrog intros kind of remind me of uh, each other. I don't know why.
Blizzard and Bullfrog. Yeah, I don't know why either, because definitely different. I think it's just they came out sort of around the same time.
Yeah, like Dungeon Keeper and
Yeah, so there's a certain tech level that just couldn't eke past.
right.
No, what I wanted to look up is so, like you said, this is the first game I played as not a kid that we're doing sort of on the show. And that reminded me that we did TIE Fighter with less than 20 years. So I'm like, what year did TIE Fighter come out?
Yeah, when did TIE Fighter come out?
1994. So, like, it is one of those where we're coming on having done this for 4 or 5 years at this point. Not quite five yet, but
Wow.
um, 3.5. Where are we at?
I don't know. This is turning into a trip down memory lane. We're we're off the rails and
we're
we haven't been on the rails yet.
um, that's kind of our thing. Uh,
Tires, fancy pant.
that was started like when we got here. So
Yeah.
we started this in March of 2016.
Wow.
So yeah, we're over 3 years. We're going into four. March of 2021 will be our 5 year.
Wow. And we have now 400 subscribers. So
We now have
welcome.
400. Yes, welcome to our new subscribers.
Yeah. All right. We should
401
talk
according to
about
this.
something about Diablo.
Should
So
we talk something about Diablo? Okay.
the thing that it strikes me the most about Diablo is how absolutely boiled down it is.
Yes.
There, like the character creation, you choose a class, and that's pretty much it. Uh, when the first time I played this, I remember talking to everyone in town, but then when we came back and played it, I didn't talk to anybody.
No.
I didn't even like. There are quests in like the general sense of the term, but you don't have to talk to people really at all. You just kind of get the quests.
Um, so yeah, there's a book called Stay a While and Listen, and they're talking in it because they talk to the developers and stuff. And one of the things they say is like they loved the fact that you didn't need directions, you didn't need quests, you didn't need anything. The what your objective was is the name of the game, Diablo.
Yep.
That's it. That's all you need to know about the game to start playing. There's Diablo, go get him. And it really went back to the see and slay the evil wizard things from really early games, uh, but brought it into a more modern UI and interface and everything like that.
Yeah, and I like that about it. I like that it doesn't uh, pretend to have a lot of plot or anything. Like there's stuff about the people in the town, and they're kind of like they're characters,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, like it doesn't matter,
Right.
and they don't try to make you do anything with them. You can be like, oh, it's the drunk guy who hangs out outside the inn. Okay.
Yeah. Um, I love me a game with story in it. I love a Deus Ex. I love uh, System Shock. I love stuff
Hmm.
like that. But that doesn't mean that's the only kind of game I love. And I think sometimes AAA or a lot of game players get too far up their own ass trying to
Hmm.
make that the next Ultima instead of just making a fun game. And it was nice to just sit down and play a game with no pressure, no expectations, and have fun with
Right.
it.
Right. And it's the dungeons are all like I didn't remember that the dungeons were dynamic when we started playing this, but like it's cool because it's different every time. And again, it's so boiled down. Like the save game system is that you just your character is saved and that's it. Your inventory and your character is saved
Yes,
and nothing else.
yes. I thought you were gonna say that it just sort of saves as you go, which it does in multiplayer. But in our playthrough here, if you're watching, you'll find out I discovered that's not sort of true for single player.
Oh, really? What happens in single player? I
You
don't
have to
remember.
manually save. So like I was
Oh,
playing through, I got up to about level 4, I died and went back and had never started the game.
oh,
And I
I'm
was
sorry for your loss.
disappointed. Yeah, it's like that
But
stinks.
the thing about it
But
though
whatever.
is
Yeah.
as a mage, it's probably more frustrating, but by and large, the gameplay to this game does not change at all as you play through it. It's
Nope.
just it looks a little different. The monsters are a little different. So having to restart Diablo, you know, it sucks. Like you lose your gear because that's really what Diablo's about is
Mhm.
gear.
Yeah.
But there's more gear. Like you're never gonna like come back and start a
Yeah.
Diablo game and not find anything.
You've never
So
become emotionally attached to your gear because you're always looking for the next thing to make it go away.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of Borderlands in that regard. Do you
Yeah.
remember
Mhm.
Borderlands is another really good gear game.
Yeah. Um the gear for the most part doesn't show up on your character until later, like mid-tier gear will actually change your character to look a little more badass, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, those are
Um
real rewarding moments, but you don't get to customize a lot.
no, character creation is type in your name, pick one of 3 classes. Done. That's
Yep.
it. Don't pick stats, you don't pick your starting equipment, you don't pick your starting spells, you don't pick anything other than name and class. And there are 3 classes, which is basically, fighter, wizard, thief. I think they say rogue. Fighter, wizard,
Yeah.
rogue.
Yeah, and it's nice because you're not really bound to anything. Like you can pick
Anybody can
a
use magic.
sorcerer and do melee. You can pick a fighter and do magic.
Yep.
You can pick a rogue and not do ranged.
Right.
So that's cool. And like
Yeah.
when we played this in multiplayer, it was a departure from our usual co-op
Playstyles.
model because I played the mage,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked that. But the only problem with it was that there was this fighter guy who always showed up and tried to kill the monster, so I would kill him, and then he'd come back every time.
It kept respawning.
Yeah, it
Well,
was really strange.
and the fighter guy couldn't hit you, which was I thought interesting.
I know
So,
that was really a bug.
um,
But no, I killed you so many times in this game. And that's one of the things about playing this multiplayer. Okay, so there's a few things about playing this multiplayer. One, BattleNet is still a thing,
mm-hmm.
kind of.
Yeah.
And two, like there's a setting for uh like if you can do damage to your person, your friend,
Yeah.
that magic does not apply to that.
Yeah. Magic is friendly fire. Period. End of conversation.
Which is interesting because a lot of the spells are area of effect and snake out along the ground or like
Mm,
flame wall or whatever. And you know,
that's a problem.
that's it's a problem for you. It was great for me.
You didn't care. You just nuked the room.
Yeah.
Um, that is one of the reasons why I chose Wizard on my single player playthrough. I'll be interested to see how you respond to sort of the differences in how I play Wizard versus you, because you are a scorched earth, take everything down, and I'm far more click patiently, slowly.
As a wizard, I do not ever want to do melee. So I just want to like lay waste to big rooms of people. And that's it. And if you're one of the people in the room, like, I'm sorry, honey, but
Things happen.
this is a goofy outfit you've assembled, by the
I
way.
think so.
Um,
It's what I could afford, what I
Works for
had.
you and your income bracket.
Basically, yes. Um,
But it is really fun multiplayer.
it is.
And like I said, BattleNet performs poorly in my experience.
It
Um,
definitely shows that multiplayer was an afterthought for them based on how they handle the lag situations. And they even talked about this a little bit in the Stay a While and Listen book, where they weren't. He didn't. The original team didn't want to put in multiplayer. It wasn't supposed to be a multiplayer game, and they fought it for a while until Blizzard South came up and like, okay, we're going to help you get. Why did you do this? There's nothing here. Um, and so some of the code is like you might be standing on a square and I'm standing next to you, but on my screen it's the opposite because it's not a pure one to
yeah.
one thing. So there were times where I'd see equipment on the ground that you couldn't see, and vice versa. When you're used to modern networked games, modern network sharing, you expect a lot more than this provides, definitely through BattleNet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's unplayable by a long shot. Just you will notice the cracks in the seams
Well, and there
playing
is
multiplayer.
something really fun about being able to play an old game multiplayer without involving a no modem cable that reaches across Wisconsin,
Yeah.
you know? So I like it. Like I like that it's there, and I was not terribly annoyed. The only thing that annoyed me was the lag. Like I don't care if you have to pick up something and then drop it before I can see it,
hmm
or all those goofy little things that happened. Uh, One thing that really impressed me about multiplayer, well, I mean the game in general, but it's more noticeable in multiplayer. The sound is really good. It's really directional.
hmm
I could kind of get a sense for where you were by your footsteps, which to me was impressive for a game this old.
Yeah. I mean, this
And the
was some of
music's
the
good.
first DirectX games that they were making, so it really helped that they were on the forefront of that technology and getting it in, and it helped it age better. The sound of
Yeah.
some of the things. I'm just looking through here. Oh, there was one other game we did multiplayer. I was like, were there any other games we played multiplayer? We also had done Die by the Sword.
Oh, that's right. Die by the Sword multiplayer was a blast.
Yes.
It's just chaos.
Yeah. I just was looking through here. Was there anything else? But nothing else yet. Um, So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, we got through the whole game of multiplayer. Uh, Loot system's good. Spell system is it's left click to attack, right click to cast a spell. Anybody can cast any spell if you found the book for it.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a hotbar where you put 10 one slot items in, either scrolls, potions, or scroll potions. I think that's just scrolls and potions.
Yeah. That's one of the main like challenges of this game is those limited hotbar slots and the amount of time it takes to switch what spell you're using. Because
hmm
there's no like, it's not like a modern game where you can hit like 1, 2, 3 and toggle around your spells, and you have
Right.
like a shifted hotbar with like 100 slots, and it's just a matter of affording enough potions to fill it. Now you get into a fight in Diablo and you run out of potions, or
Oh,
you need to
yeah.
change your spell because someone's resistant to something. That's like that's some overhead that you
hmm
have to you have to
Manage.
run away and manage that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that makes it fun because I think otherwise this game would be too easy,
Yes.
and it's not easy. I didn't think this was an easy game.
I I've been thinking about that question since recording time's been creeping up on us for like the last 2 weeks. I'm like, is this an easy game?
If you define easy by being able to beat it without dying a lot, it's not an easy game. If you define it by how challenging it feels to beat it, it is an easy game because it doesn't feel challenging. The death system, like you can throw yourself at it and get around it.
Well, and that was my thought. Like, there's no puzzles, no real puzzles.
Not really.
You just walk around the map, sweep everything up, gather XP, gather loot, do it again and again and again.
Hmm.
Um, if you die, your shit drops there, and you either go back and get it, or you're like, whatever, I'll build another set of loot. Again, we're not emotionally attached to loot.
Right.
Um, but like you said, there are some battles that I know you and I just threw yourselves at, because if you don't start over and go back and replay some levels to just grind some XP at certain places, you will be overpowered. And learning how to manage those fights and not accidentally run in and pop more monsters and get their attention is a trick. One of the things that was pointed out after I had played through a lot of it is, so like I liked having a larger light radius on my character.
Hmm.
That also meant monsters saw us from farther away, so we were getting bigger
Oh,
pulls because
gotcha.
I was using more light.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't
So
realize that.
yeah, I didn't either until it was like almost done with the book and going, oh God, dirty.
Right.
I appreciate it. Good job. Like
Yeah,
I'm mad, but
there's some interesting mechanics. It's not it like I said, it's not a complex game. There's what how many levels of dungeon? 10,
16.
16 levels of
Yep.
dungeon. And there's
4 levels
gates.
of 4. Yeah.
Yeah, uh you can like pop down to 8 or whatever, or you can uh, just rerun the dungeons and go down one floor at a time.
Well, and that was going to be my other thing I was going to say. The game is constantly being nice to you with town portals and ways where when you come back, you can just shoot right to the level you were, close to on within like a couple levels.
Hmm.
It, it's constantly giving you great loot and making you feel good, and you're getting lots of little pats on the back all the time. I got a new sword. I got a new spell. I got another little power up, or the spell's a little better,
Hmm.
or I've killed a new type of creature, or I've just leveled up again, or I found a potion that raises a stat. There's hundreds of little good jobs, good jobs, good jobs all the time
Yep.
when you're playing this game. And I think that's what throws me off from, is this a difficult game? Because most people, when they think of difficult games, it's no reward. It's no
Hmm.
pleasure. It's all this, everything's kept from you and you've got to really fight hard to get absolutely every little scrap
Right. Your main reward is just not
Yeah,
dying
your main
or
reward is not
losing.
dying. This gives you stuff all the time for it, but if you walk around a corner into too big a group, or you walk in front of somebody else casting a spell, or you try to push to a level you're not ready for, it will kill you instantly. It will beat you down and let you know you just screwed up.
Hmm.
But if you play it safe and you stay back and you level up at a reasonable pace, and you're fine. You're never gonna feel that pressure.
Yeah.
It lets you pressure yourself.
Right. You can let progress be your guide because I think the XP you get from killing creatures drops off, and then you kind of like, no, okay, I'm not getting XP for this.
Mm-hmm.
I have to push now, or I'm just gathering money, basically small
Right.
amounts of money. Um,
Which also isn't the worst thing in the world because you buy a bunch
True.
of potions. Sometimes you want to go to a level that it's just way too easy for you just to rack up money for potions and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I
I
remember
noticed.
when we played this back in the day, we never, like, even when we were playing alone, we still turned it on multiplayer and just played multiplayer alone so that we were ready with our multiplayer character to play online.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no.
There's still people hanging out on BattleNet looking for a Diablo game to play, which I think it's only one person,
Yeah.
but
Hi,
I'll bet
guy.
I'll
I
bet they're a
ignored you.
subscriber. Yeah, so
I,
that's nice. Like that's
yeah.
cool that you can still go find someone to play Diablo with.
Yeah. I wouldn't
But
say a lot, but we ran into more than us. So.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah,
But
this came out on Good Old Games, which is what kind of got us to play it again.
yeah.
Because
And
before that, it was just gone.
is this the like remaster that you're playing now? Because it
Yes,
came with two editions, and BattleNet's not supported in the remaster, which I thought was really strange.
thought so too.
But what's the difference? Because this looks exactly like what we played.
Right. It's supposedly a slightly better resolution,
Oh, okay.
slightly better graphics, but so close that.
Usually, when we play a semi-modern game like this, I look for mods just to see what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll take a bump in resolution. Uh,
Yeah.
but I didn't check for Diablo.
No,
I
I
just
didn't
kind
even
of.
think to look. Yeah.
I'm sure someone in the comments knows. Let us
Mm-hmm.
know. But I like that the dungeons are dynamic, and also that they change. Um, and it's not only that the tile set changes and the monsters change, the feel of it changes too, which is really kind of necessary for
Mm-hmm.
this not to get too repetitive. Like if you had 16 levels of this,
You'd be done.
I would
Yeah.
just not care. Like it
Yeah.
keeps you going to kind of see what the next thing is. And
Again, it's that hundreds of little attaboys,
hmm
or atta girls, or atta thems, or whatever
yeah,
your atta particular
right.
atta
Whatever
thing
you
is.
like.
Um, yeah, and I also think more than 16 levels, and I'd have been done. We got to about 16, and that was just sort of the perfect flavor for it. Oh.
Yeah. The only puzzle in the game really arguably is the last level, because I think that's a static level
Hmm.
and you fight, Diablo. I wasn't blown away by uh the boss fight at the end,
Yeah.
but I don't know, like what I don't know what else you could do with it.
No, it was just a big monster with a lot of hit points who hit hard running around, and
Yeah.
had a lot of goons around running with him.
Yeah. But as a mage, I think like one of the more challenging aspects of this is managing the resistances and figuring out the resistances of the of the creatures you're fighting. That to me was really interesting, and like it added quite a bit of difficulty.
Hmm.
Uh, and I found it satisfying to figure it out without looking it up, because
Yeah.
I'm a huge proponent of just looking stuff up on the internet.
I'm so
'Cause
against that.
I
I
I
know.
mean I've built my career around it, but
Fair enough.
because I just want to know, like it's known, but there are exceptions to that, and like Death Maze 5000,
Yeah.
which we just talked about, is one of them, and like the Diablo resistances. are another. Grant, although we did look up some of them because it was so
At the end.
at the end there when you're dealing with a bunch of different enemies and
Well, and that's one of your complaints you had during the game when we played several times. There's not enough feedback to you getting hit or you hitting someone.
yeah,
When
especially with the spell, especially with the lightning spells, because it just goes through them and you don't know if it damaged them or not.
yeah, did it damage? Did it not? You don't see anything sort of arcing off them. There's nothing that lets you know that worked.
Right.
And,
Fireball explodes on them. Flame wall doesn't really.
but
They make noise, but
yeah, you hear some noise. You hear them go something, but lightning doesn't always, and the chain lightning doesn't always.
I couldn't always hear it because you happen to make a lot of noise when I hit you with spells, which is,
Yes,
by the way, very
I know.
inconvenient for
But
me.
really annoying and getting in the way of your stuff.
Yeah. So if you could fix that, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I'll put it in the bug report.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, did you die?
I did.
Oh, and here you're like, save game. That was
Well,
supposed
what's
to
a
do that.
save game? I didn't know I needed to save a game. Son of a. Let's
Oh,
see what I get. Do I level one? Mother.
here you are. Here you are. You seem. Oh, and you're like, oh, here you're figuring it out.
Yep.
Save game. That's what that's for. Yeah, we played this, when we were in high school slash college.
Yeah.
But
That
I didn't
era.
remember anything about the mechanics. Really, I remember the old guy, the dude at the well,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Well, and
yeah,
I wanted to talk about like you're talking about as a wizard, it was really satisfying to um like figure out what resistances and stuff to use. And you'd think as a fighter, well, there's you just walk up to guys and hit, but every one of the classes plays slightly different and causes you to need a certain set of skills to play that thing, which I think is really interesting. Because a lot of games, you don't really feel the difference from class to class.
hmm
You might see a stat difference or something like that, but you don't feel, you know what I mean? You're not really
yeah.
feeling a difference. For me, the fighter thing wasn't whether or not they would resist my sword because they weren't gonna. It's were they gonna run away? And who do I
Right.
attack first? Because if you hit the guy who was going to stand there and fight anyway and kill him, and the other guy runs, well, now I'm running across the map, hoping not to hit a squad of other guys as I'm chasing his ass down.
Yeah.
So selecting targets that way is just order of operations. Who do I attack first? How do I box them into a corner so they don't run away? Um,
For as chaotic as the combat is, and like just all out combat fest, it it's surprisingly tactical.
I think that works because it is only two buttons. It's attack or spell. You know
hmm
which button you're going to be pushing. So then it's just a matter of getting those lined up and dealing with it on the screen. So the screen can be slightly more chaotic because it is smaller options on your
Yeah. But even like you said, when you're running around trying to attack someone and you trigger another nest of monsters, like that's a tactical
part. Mm,
situation that you have to manage. Like
yeah.
and like playing a rogue, I imagine you have to find a way to maintain some distance.
Yep.
Uh, so it's cool in that way.
It also does a good job of ramping up slowly. Like you're watching me walk around now, and there's a couple monsters walking around here and there, and they're definitely a thing. And some of the monsters meander aimlessly until they get close enough. But on the higher levels, it is swarms of dozens of things charging you, and you're dealing with large amounts of heavy hitting mobs, each sort of complementing each other and like this one's resistance to magic, this one's resistance to, just getting hit. This one's too fast. This
Right.
one's a ranged fighter. And you've got two or three of those happening at the same time and you got to handle two or three things.
Yeah. With multiplayer, it's quite a bit easier to
Yes.
manage those situations. Single player, I'll bet it's just a total mess, a total nightmare.
Yeah, you're going to have to power through some of it.
Yeah.
Um I was going to say something about that. Oh well.
Yeah. But
But
it's a lot of inventory management
it's
too.
a lot of inventory management because it is a gear game.
Yep.
And I know we keep saying that, but it really, really is. No, I was just impressed. The variety of monsters. We talk about like there's a lot of different monsters coming at you doing a lot of different things. But even that is still really only like a couple switches that they flip up and down between the variety of monsters. Are you ranged or melee? Are you resistant or not? Are you a runner or not?
Right.
Uh, and that's kind of it. And then they just play with those three settings, and you got to deal with all the permutations of that.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that they look different is a kind of a
Hmm.
big deal.
Yep. And there are
Because that
some clues to the
keeps you going.
resistances based on color. Like if
True.
you see a
Very
red guy,
true.
you're probably like, oh, they're resistant to fire.
Or if they're casting lightning at you, you're probably like, okay, well, I'm not going to use lightning on this guy.
Yeah.
But that logic to it makes it fun
Hmm.
because you just kind of know what you're in for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like there's shrines all over the place and they all do different things and you don't always know what they are. That I might look up because some of them are obvious, but
Yeah.
a lot of them aren't. You have to be really observant to kind of figure that out, and it's not something I'm known for, is being really observant.
Yeah. Well, like this game wanted to originally be a rogue game, a roguelike game. It's just like we want to do rogue, but with graphics and modern interfaces. And Blizzard South kind of talked them into making it real time instead. I think that was a good decision.
It was going to be turn based.
Going to be turn based. It was going to be based on sort of a combination of Rogue and XCOM. Were
Hmm.
their thoughts behind it?
Hmm.
And that's why you can kind of still see it in everybody moves from square to square. And
Right.
there are tiles. There are definitely tiles to this game.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea. Like, I wonder what this would be. I think it would just be so slow paced and dreadful. Although maybe the engine would have been different.
No,
Was
it
this
was this
late in the
engine.
process? Was it
Yeah,
really?
yeah. What the guy did is like Blizzard South was like it should be real time. And they're like, no, we want to turn based. We want to go back to Rogue. We want to do this. They're like, ask your team what they think. And they're all like, it should be real time. And so the like leads go into the room and like, well, yeah, they get a vote, but they don't get the right vote. So we're doing
Yeah.
this turn based. And then in the middle of the night, he was coding and he's like, okay, I'm going to try this. What if, because he told them the same thing. Like, I'm going to have to recode the whole game. There's all this work that's going to have to go into it. We're going to have to like really twist and fight to make this real time. What if I just turned the timer on all the stuff to 0?
Like the turn timer?
The turn timer. Like how many turns does this take to happen? If I just made it 0, what would happen? And it worked. It just worked. He's like,
Wow.
I turned it to 0. I clicked on a skeleton. He walked over and hit the skeleton. And he's like, and it was satisfying. And I went, shit, we got a great game.
Yeah. That's
There's, yeah.
good they admitted it though,
Hmm.
because if you dig in on stuff like that.
Yeah. And I can see wanting to like keep because I miss more turn-based games myself, but
Right. Yeah, that whole genre is sadly missing. It's gotten better though with XCOM being re-released. Like it kind of revitalized that
I think
genre.
XCOM helped a lot. Oh,
When's that
Phoenix
Lovecraftian
Phoenix
turn-based game
Point.
coming? Phoenix Point. When's that coming out?
Let's take a look. Made by the guy who made the original XCOM.
Yeah. I
Gullop.
was looking forward to that.
I got to play a demo of that. Um, in early access. It is caused some drama because it went to the Epic Store.
Oh
It will
yeah.
be
Now
exclusive there for a year.
We have platform drama now to deal with.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yay! It's the one thing PCs didn't have before, but now we kind of do.
Yep.
Phoenix Point. Come on, give me a release date here. Work with me.
They're gonna do a banner lord on you and just not tell you and make you wait 8 years.
September 2019. So this fall.
Oh, it's
Very
coming
soon.
out soon. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. I'll
Yeah.
definitely play that.
You will like it. I got to play it on the demo early access Kickstarter thing, or they did
Cool.
Fig or something. Um,
Yeah.
I like a lot of things in it, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that because I could go on that for quite a while.
The thing that
Uh,
strikes me about Diablo in this moment is that there's really not that much to talk about. Like
yeah,
we
there's I
we've
think two more things we need to talk about, and one we had kind of forgotten about because we just have the video playing on the side as sort of eye candy while two assholes talking to a camera.
uh-huh.
Um, but the sound. You talked a little bit about the sound being good because you got this surround sound aspect where I could tell where you were on the level as you got closer. But the
Hmm.
music, they didn't go with the typical medieval RPG standard fanfare and went with this like Spanishy guitar,
Yeah, it was a
uh,
really bold choice and it worked really, really well.
really well. Changed the tone of the game dramatically, and we would be remiss if we didn't bring up that Diablo has some fantastic music.
The only change I would make is that I would give all the people in town different uh some different lines that they say because they always say the same thing and I got so sick of that potion lady saying the same thing to me, it just started to drive me nuts.
Well, hers is, I sense a soul in need of answers. That's too
Yep.
long.
Right.
Have you come for it? Not that's even too long. You need something like 3 4 words tops. Stay a
Uh,
while and listen.
You
Long
look
as it
nice
should get.
today. That would
Yeah,
be fine. That would make me feel good too.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
sense a
yeah,
traveler. Boom, done. That is
sure.
enough where I'm not sick of you. But if you're gonna ramble on, then ramble on. Give me more than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The other thing we should talk about is the ending video.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but we should talk about it.
Right. So yeah, I don't know, like spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we're going to kind of talk about how it ends because we get down there, you kill Diablo, and if you kill in a team, only the guy who killed him gets the video, or the guy who's hosting the game, or
I
I don't
think
know.
it's whoever lands the last blow and the person who was team killed and
Yeah,
is
sent
now in
back to
town,
town.
just the game just ends, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like you kill Diablo, then you cut this gem out of him and you shove it in your own head, and you sort of become demonic Diablo.
You're the Diablo the next one.
Yeah, you're Diablo Junior. Um,
Fantastic.
you like it?
I love a good downer ending. I really do. It's not even a downer, it's just like a good interesting kind of twist. I liked it.
I don't think it would have worked in another kind of game. Um,
Yeah. If
be
this were a plot driven game, I think it would have been bad. But just because it's so
yeah,
inconsequential, the plot, yeah,
the plot's inconsequential. You're gonna spin the game up with that same character, run down there and kill Diablo for more loot again anyway. Um, yeah, like do a weird ending like that. This is the game to do it in.
hmm,
I still didn't like it, but um,
you wouldn't have shoved that thing right in your head
I I
with
wouldn't have.
abandon.
No, no.
Oh,
Uh,
are you getting a quest here?
yeah, I was just checking it out.
Ooh, a
I know.
quest.
Well, I was trying to show different things that happen in the game. Like there's a quest log and there's, stuff happens.
Yeah,
Not that you care, but
but they're all just finding some enemy and killing it,
yeah.
and you're gonna do that anyway. So like, why bother?
I like that items are unidentified sometimes. When you get a magic item, you don't know what it is or what it does.
Yes. Yeah, that's nice. And you can, if you have scrolls of identify, you can do it that way, or bring it to the Deckard by the well, and he'll.
Or just equip it and maybe it's cursed.
Yeah, right.
The
It's
world will never know.
it's procedurally generated,
Yep.
baby. One thing I noticed playing this is that you very exactly balance your character because you get like what 4 points when you level up, and you
Five
have
for
or
four
five, and you
stats.
have four stats. So you're like one in each, and then plus one in my primary.
Yes.
Doop 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 doop, and I'm like, put it all in magic.
Put on magic.
Boom! Just don't get hit. Just don't try to swing a sword. It'll be fine.
Well, that was something funny when we were talking to Mark about Nox Archaeus. I was kind of talking about how I do that sort of same thing. He's like, I didn't think anyone would do that. I thought everyone would just dump everything. So this is sort of my ESDF moment. Yeah, I tend to balance until the balance isn't acceptable anymore. And you'll know when that moment is. When you're finding books that you can't read because your intelligence isn't high enough or
Hmm.
weapons you can't use, then I'll spend a couple levels getting that up to where it should be again, and then I'll go back to my average
I'm
again.
more like an 80-20 kind of philosophy. So I'm like, if I'm doing magic 80% of the time,
hmm
I'll put 80% of my points in it. Uh, but I always have like I want this the next thing. So if you have an item, it's like I
Right.
just need a little strength to equip it, then I'm more likely to upset that balance a little bit. But generally, I would just like dump it all in there and let's do some magic.
Well, my big thing is in the beginning, you're going to need more strength and more other stuff for equipment. That what you started with is not going to be good enough. And if you wait
Right.
till you get to that point, and they're suddenly like, oh, I'm going to have to take like 3 levels and do nothing but dump in strength to get this awesome armor, you're going to be pissed. So
And at
just,
the end, the levels are so long before you level up.
and right now, even 2 points in a stat is huge. Where at the
Hmm.
end, you really need like 4 points in a stat to make it feel different. So that's
Right.
why in the beginning, I'm more of a spread even. And then once I've got the armor I'm going to use, like he's never going to wear plate mail
Right.
because
Yeah.
there's not plate mail of brilliance plus 87 intelligence. They tend to keep that lighter armor. Um,
Right.
could happen,
Yeah.
but probably not gonna.
Yeah. This is one of those times where I won't say you're wrong like I do with ESDF, which you
Mm-hmm.
are wrong about. But I understand that, and I think it's probably pretty smart. But man, I just
I
want to
know.
wreck some people with magic spells. Like I'm task oriented in that regard.
um, shit, I had something else and I lost it. Yeah,
Hmm.
we were talking about raising stats.
The overall, I think the mechanics of this game are very obvious,
Mm-hmm.
kind of on the surface, because you have procedurally generated dungeons with nests of monsters procedurally placed in those things, and like really a limited selection of monsters on
Mm-hmm.
any given floor. Um, so you don't really feel like you're discovering much as you go through the game,
Right.
but like leveling up is super rewarding, and like you said, there's enough of those little dopamine release moments that uh, I was like looking forward to playing and looking forward to uh,
Right.
getting further along.
And it plays fast.
Yeah.
Like you get into the that was one of the other things I wanted to talk about. So the gameplay in the dungeon is it plays fast. You get in, you're going, but not too fast. But there's this constant movement. Um, the town layout would not be acceptable in a modern game. The town
Y-
layout is horrible.
It
Uh,
really is. The witch lady lives so far away. You got to tromp around town to get to her. Yeah.
If
It,
your
it
guys moved faster or something, but their little stick up their ass shuffle, like duck walk. I don't even know what you want to call it. Little
yeah.
stiff legs. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
And so slow. Just, oh, I didn't want to buy town portals just because I didn't want to walk there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it is annoying. Like the whole town system is a little bit annoying because you have to walk to so many people, and there's
Mm-hmm.
like that kid who gives you who has the rare items that you kind of have to pay to see him. He's like way up north, so you always forget to check what he's got. And
Yeah.
I don't like to buy loot in Diablo, uh, which is kind of a detriment because there is a lot of good loot that you can buy. You'd be like, "Oh, I found you a new hat," and I'd be like, "Oh, I'd never even check that guy. I just
Loot.
go to the potion lady and buy mana potions, and that's what I do."
I remember the other thing now. Gold takes inventory space in stacks of 5,000. And some of the stuff
Yeah.
costs 40,000, 60,000, 100,000 by the end of the game. I
Yep.
would run out of inventory from things I picked up because I would have 12 stacks of gold. And
Right.
you're kind of nervous about dropping it on the ground in a multiplayer game because if the server goes down, that shit's gone.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of like a lot of times we'd end up going back to town just because we were out of inventory space. Like
Hmm.
we were fine with the monsters, fine with everything going on,
Yeah, just
but
out of
just like
inventory.
I got to sell this thing because you don't want to drop some sword that's worth like 20 or
Yeah.
15,000 gold on the ground like an idiot.
Hmm. And you
Yeah.
didn't want to go back to town because of the walking. Like if the walking had been faster, like okay, I'll pop back up to town, I'll pop back down. Uh, I think Torchlight had an interesting mechanic because that was sort of from the similar people to this one, where you had a pet dog and you could put shit in the dog and go sell it, and the dog would disappear for a while and come back with the money.
Yeah, that would be real nice.
Something like that. Dungeon Siege did it where like the first spell you learned is you cast it on items and it would just turn them into money.
Oh, I love Dungeon Siege. I haven't thought about that game in a long time. That was Microsoft, right?
Uh, yes, they Microsoft bought the company who's making Dungeon
Right.
Siege.
That's right. Yeah.
Uh,
I really liked that. I haven't thought about I was trying to remember the name of that game a while ago. Thank you for bringing it up.
yeah. Released 2002, so it's a ways off before we can get to it.
Oh, oh well. That's okay. We have enough.
We have enough going
We have enough to
on.
play. Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know what I think. I think that's kind of the end of this here.
Yeah.
You got
But I
anything else you wanna
no, if you haven't played Diablo, I don't know what you've been doing with your life, but if you haven't, play it.
play
It's
it?
fun.
It's
It's a good
fun.
game. It's a
Um,
grind, and you know,
it's the sort of game like I would like with Wizardry, where you sit down, you go, you level up a guy a little bit, you come out, you don't care about the story, you don't care about what's going on in the game, you're not keeping track of notes. You're just playing a game, and every time you restart the game, you get a new dungeon, so it's always fresh.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's minimize that. We'll pull up the short game first, which is Incredible Machine. We talked about that last time.
Yep.
I played a little bit of that already. Have you given it a shot yet?
No, I
Yeah.
have not, but I will make a point of doing so.
Yeah. I need to figure out like if I can make the interface work a little better because it is certainly a clunky old DOS interface.
Hmm. That was before we knew better.
This is before we knew better. That's that one. Next long game. You ready? Carpet.
Magic Carpet, Bullfrog. Look at that cover.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get away from RPGs for a little bit. Do some
Yep.
more actiony things. Um,
I played this a lot when I was a teenager, and I really liked it.
I tried to play it and didn't understand it.
This will be interesting.
It will be interesting. I just could not wrap my head around it when it first came out. Um, but I'm older and wiser, and we'll give this a shot now. So
Yeah, it's got network play there. I see on the cover.
I'm seeing that as well. We'll have to check that out.
Let's see if we can make it happen.
Right? There's got to be a way.
Pentium. Oh man, you gotta have a Pentium for this.
We do. Sorry. Sorry.
I'll have to What about an overclocked 486? I'll press a turbo button. We'll be doing it.
Actually, that's a good point. Somebody at work just handed me an old Pentium computer. Maybe I'll try and get that running and play Magic Carpet the way it was meant to be played.
Yeah. Man, I miss that. Uh, those days.
Yeah.
Hardware, like overclocking. I mean, you can still overclock, but it's not as cool because it's like you can't go from a DX to a DX2 like you used to be able
No,
to.
it just doesn't have the same payoff. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
all right. That's kind of our wind down here. But Magic Carpet in a month, Incredible Machine in 2 weeks, and we don't really have any other surprises coming up for a while. So,
nope.
have a nice leisurely summer here.
That's the thing about surprises, though.
Never know. Jump out at you.
Yep. But no, we don't.
No surprises.
There won't be. So.
All right. Talk to everybody later. Bye.
Bye.